Okay, the last segment is about non-pharmacologic therapy. For the non-pharmacologic therapy in the hypertension, there's some information that can be used to manage lifestyle. The first is try to losing the weight or the body weight, yeah, and then maintain in the ideal body weight. And then for the food consumption, can follow the DASH diet. Yeah, you can after this I will show you what is the DASH diet. Yeah, the DASH diet especially is the limiting sodium intake, yeah, and then stop alcohol consumption, stop smoking, and exercise minimum 30 minutes per day, yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is the lifestyle modification for the DASH diet. In the right figure, you can see the information what kind of food that have to be eaten, yeah, by the hypertension patients. For the example, like grains, vegetable, fruits, nuts yang unsalted, and then lean meats, and also what is for example like yogurt, yeah. So this is also any number of serving information in the one day, yeah. Yeah, you can read by yourself, especially in the DASH diet have to limit the sodium or natrium consumption. Yeah, okay. It is not enough in the patient is already got hypertension and has risk factor for cardiovascular disease or hypertension related organ damage. Not enough just use the lifestyle modification, yeah. Still need the pharmacologic therapy. Both non-pharmacologic and pharmacologic therapy have to be done paralel, and always use both of therapy continuously. And then here are some information, but in the in the bahasa, I got this table in the bahasa. Yeah, this is some information about the amount to decrease the blood pressure, yeah. From the, for example, from the lowering body weight, it can reduce the blood pressure around 5 until 20 mmHg. And then for using DASH diet can help to reduce 8 until 14 mmHg. And the other modification lifestyle can reduce the blood pressure. Okay, next is the monitoring and evaluation. Evaluation is done every 2 until 4 weeks after the initial treatment or after change the therapy. Yeah, and the evaluation is done by measuring the blood pressure. Yeah, blood pressure can be measured by health professional or ambulatory, yeah. And the monitoring of the patient who have had organ damage must be done. And then side effect, yeah. Beside the effectivity of the therapy, yeah, monitoring is important to see the side effect, yeah. So please monitor side effect every 2 until 4 weeks, and then 6 until 12 months for patient whose condition is already stable, yeah. Okay, here are I give you some information about the complication. I just take the three complication: diabetes, kidney disease, and heart disease. For the diabetes, diabetes and hypertension have the same pathway, same pathway uh, in the sympathetic nervous system, and then in the renin-angiotensin aldosterone system. And also, as you can see in the figure at the right, please, if any insulin resistance, it can lead hyper sorry if any insulin resistant occur in the diabetes condition, it can lead dyslipidemia, it can lead hyperinsulinemia, and also it can lead hyperglycemia. And from the hyperinsulinemia, dyslipidemia, or hypertriglyceridemia can affect the vascular, can affect the vascular dysfunction. And then after you can see also from the hyperinsulinemia can induce the NR retention, and furthermore can induce the hypertension. Maybe this is a little bit correlation between the diabetes and the hypertension. This pathway interact and influence each other and can even lead to a vicious cycle. This is like the summary, maybe summary for the correlation between the blood pressure and then the diabetes. In the diabetes, insulin concentration is high, and then from this condition can lead the resistant natrium, can increase the activity of sympathetic nervous system, and can increase the resistance vascular. So from three pathway can lead to increasing the blood pressure. This is the drug recommendation for the diabetes. I think we already discussed about the diabetes condition in the pharmacologic therapy. From GNC8, for the diabetes can use S inhibitor or ARB, CCB, and can use also diuretic, alone or combination therapy. Okay, next, this is the chronic kidney disease. Actually, hypertension can lead the chronic kidney disease, or the chronic kidney disease can lead hypertension. Like so close correlation between the chronic kidney disease and the hypertension. This is the condition from the hypertension to chronic kidney disease. The first is hypertension result in thickening of the renal artery walls, as a compensation for high blood pressure. And then if any thickening in the walls of the renal, so oxygen and blood supply to the kidney also decrease. And then from this condition can lead ischemic injury to the glomerulus. And then after that can damage the renal function, especially in the glomerulus. So for example, can be occur proteinuria and low of glomerulus filtration rate. Actually, for the chronic kidney disease, we also mention the best choice is S inhibitor or ARB. For the kidney disease self, there's no drug, no drug for the kidney disease that can use. I mean, no drug that can make the kidney condition more healthy, or back to the normal. There's no drug. So if the patient got the CKD, yeah, the management that can use is, yeah, for example, like replacement therapy from the kidney, can transplantation, or maybe hemodialysis. Yeah. If any drug used in the CKD condition, there's just for health the patient condition, not for make the kidney back to the normal condition. Yeah. Okay. Next, the last is chronic artery disease. Yeah, chronic artery disease. Uh, it can lead by the hypertension. Yeah, high blood pressure can lead to big force at the arteries wall, and then by the time can damage of the artery. Of course, if any dyslipidemia, it can be a risk factor, and then dyslipidemia and high blood pressure can lead to atherosclerosis. Yeah, for the sorry, for the treatment, you can see in the table in the diabetes. Yeah, what is the recommendation, yeah, for the chronic artery disease? Okay, there's about the complication. And now this is some interaction, but I'm sorry, I'm still use bahasa in this slide, but you can find the information about interaction for the fast or the screening interaction. You can use Micromedex, or you can use Medscape or drugs.com, yeah, for the fast screening. But if you want to get some more information, you can read the Stockley. Yeah. But please give some more attention for the um, antihypertensive drug with antihypertensive drug combination. Yeah, for example, like ACE and ARB. It's contraindicated because we will lead the hyperkalemia condition, and the solution is have to change one of the drug. Yeah, and then for ARB and diuretic can lead the hyperkalemia, and the solution is monitoring kalium concentration. Yeah. Also same with ACE inhibitor and diuretic. Yeah. And then this is interaction between antihypertensive drug with antidiabetic. For example, beta blocker and sulfonylurea, yeah, can decrease the effect of sulfonylurea. Then solution maybe can add the dose of the sulfonylurea. Yeah. Okay, for ACE inhibitor and insulin can lead to hypoglycemia. Yeah, and then from thiazide and insulin can decrease the effect of anti-diabetes, or this means insulin or sulfonylurea. And then nifedipine and metformin can increase the effect of metformin. Yeah. This is some information about interaction between antihypertensive and drug that used in the stroke condition. For example, ARB and heparin can lead the hyperkalemia, also as an inhibitor, and for the beta blocker and heparin can increase the effect of propanolol, especially for propanolol. Okay, I think enough here for the hypertensive topic. For the case study, we will discuss in the schedule, yeah, at Monday. Monday, we will discuss about that. And if you have some question, please prepare the question, and then we will discuss in the Zoom meeting. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a nice day, and please prepare for the next meeting. Thank you.